Todd Battis is standing by for us in Halifax. Todd, good to see you, but I think a lot of people right around this country, those that may have perhaps have met her, know of her, but just knowing just a champion for women in politics, you know, sadly so many people paying respects to a legacy gone.
You know, Angie, good morning, and no one more so than the people of this city where I am, Halifax, where she forged a political career for decades and was really revered here, but at the same time was very much one of the people. She was Alexa. There are very few people in politics in the history of this country that are known by their first name only, but that goes to speak to the type of person she was, how she was so respected by the people here in Halifax, in Nova Scotia, and then in 1995, as you mentioned, when she was elected leader of the federal NDP power, how she became known to the rest of the country. And we're hearing, you know, tributes, and you had, you read Jagmeet Singh's tribute there, his tweet, but an outpouring from across the country that will continue, I'm sure, for days to come.
How are people in Nova Scotia reacting to this loss, Todd?
Well, not unlike people from across the country, and certainly those who worked with her in political circles here are remembering her as just a woman of incredible strength, a leader who epitomized fairness. You know, Angie, one of the things that she is credited for is bringing people into the NDP tent. She, you know, when she became leader here provincially, she brought gains to the legislature for the NDP. She did the same federally when she was at the House of Commons. And then when she was no longer leader of those parties, and of course she never led them to electoral victory, but she was so instrumental after the fact. She didn't just settle into the background when she was no longer leader, either provincially or federally. She worked really hard as a member of those parties and was instrumental in helping Darrell Dexter here in Nova Scotia become the premier of this province, the first and only NDP government. And the same was true across the country. And she worked hard, even at that grassroots level, and earned the respect of not only people in the party, but right across the political spectrum. And we're hearing that today. The Premier of Nova Scotia, Tim Houston, put out a statement saying she was respected by the people she represented, and that is certainly no easy feat. You know, politicians have a shelf life. Thomas Mulcair was talking about that earlier. But, you know, no matter where she went in the country, certainly here in Halifax, she had that celebrity feel about her, but she was very much one of the people. And I can tell you, just in this building in CTV here in Halifax, she would never come in with handlers or an entourage. She just walked through the building. Everybody knew her. There was a comfort level with her, and that certainly earned her the respect of so many.
Yeah, Alexa walking there in the building. And you mentioned Darrell Dexter, Todd. He also tweeted out, "Alexa was my friend, leader, mentor, and an inspiration. I spent countless hours with her at meetings, large and small, fundraisers and conventions, canvassing in all kinds of weather. Her strength and determination were unmatched. My condolences to her family." And I have to say, you know, and I know you can attest to this as well, covering her in politics, being in the House of Commons, you need to have that voice. And the NDP at the time, very, very, very small, as you know, barely, you know, a handful of members, if that. But Alexa McDonough had a voice that spoke accountability. She listened. She really knew what was going on, the ins and outs. And I have to attest that incredible smile that she had, I think, warmed so many hearts.
And you know, on that point, Angie, people will tell you that she drilled down into whatever portfolio she was responsible for. She knew her stuff, and she fought so hard. You talk about a voice. She was, you know, the first leader of a federal party when she became leader in Nova Scotia, the NDP, in 1980. And really, what she did to bring women into politics, to be a strong voice for women in politics, to stand up to what was you know, across the country. Think back to 1980, you know, in many respects, it was very much the old boys club in Canadian politics. And you can imagine some of the adversity she had to overcome. And she did it with grace, and she did it with style, and she did it with a commitment to Canadians and Canadian politics that, again, I keep coming back to that word respect, but you know, that's it, and brought people who are marginalized, women, people of color. There was a place for everyone at the NDP when she was at the helm, and you know, certainly the party has benefited, and so have all Canadians.
Absolutely, breaking barriers and creating possibilities. There was no "I can't" for Alexa McDonough, indeed. CTV's Todd Battis for us. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing this with me, Todd. I appreciate it.
She was a wonderful woman. Thank you.
She certainly was.